Oh, right. Oh, wait, Margaret said cannot hear. So I guess that's still like, okay. Mm, okay, cool. All right. So we just get started then. All right. Oh, wait, Margaret said
Okay,
cannot.
oh,
So thank you. Right. Hello, everybody who is here watching on the live stream. My name is Lynn, and welcome to this event. I think final one of the year that we're holding that's all being organized by Notion Singapore, a volunteer group. Notion Nerds coming together and chatting with interesting folks who are doing different things with Notion that we would love to deep dive into. So today we have with us Mikli, and she is a tech and automation strategist. Fun enthusiast, and she helps to take care of business and the taking care. I'm trying to pronounce it as take care of business, and being the pun. So I'll just let her to kind of continue to share with us a bit more about background designing and building tech and automations for online business owners in a bit. But maybe for now, just wanted to see if you are online, where are you from, put it in the chat. We would love to hear, where are you joining us from? And this is the first time that we're doing this on YouTube. So we are really hoping that all the tech issues are panning out and the audio and, visual, the lag isn't too bad. But, big shout out to Margaret as well as Rating for making sure that, all this is, kind of working smoothly. So thank you both. Okay. So let's see, any folks in the chat? Oh, great. Hi, Natasha. Okay, I can see. Thanks for joining. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, it's like what, morning for you, I guess. And yeah, okay. So we have, as I mentioned, Mikli. So without further ado, maybe I'll just hand the time a bit over to Mikli to share with us. Apart from people in Singapore, we have people from Switzerland joining.
wow.
Perhaps Natasha's in Switzerland,
Hi.
and and Mikli is joining us from the Philippines. So this is very much, beyond Southeast Asia, and just really appreciate Mikli for your time to join us today and just sharing with us your setup for launching your online course on Notion. Over to you to share a bit more about yourself, and how do you come to get to know Notion, and what was your journey like? Over to you.
So I had a few friends recommend Notion to me. And it's like, oh, there's this cool new app, you can do so many things. And then I opened Notion and I was like, well, it's a page. What am I going to do with a page? And then they're like, you can put tables. It's like, what do you mean I can put tables? It's like, it's better than Google Drive because you can put pages inside pages. It's like, that sounds like Google Drive. So for a long time, I had no idea. It's like, it's just Google Drive, but a page, I thought. So I was like, I didn't know what to do with it. And then I left it alone for a while. And when I would hear the buzz again around Notion, they're like, no, this is so cool. It's so flexible. It works the way my brain does. And I was like, what do you mean? It still looks like a page to me. And there are like 50 different features. And I was like, what do I do with this? But I was like, you know what? If other people are having such a good time and I don't get it, I was so determined, like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to understand what all the fuss is about. So one weekend, I said, I'm going to sit on it. I think I looked for a tutorial on YouTube. Somebody was setting up like their entire workspace using Notion. I was like, I don't understand anything. What is a database? What is a relation? But I'm going to sit here until I get it. So that whole weekend, I spent on Notion like 2-3 days, like nonstop. I'd wake up early in the morning. I'd work till night. Like I was in the zone. And I created my first workspace. It's ugly and did not work, but the oops but it got me finally to understand, oh, that's how all the pieces work. Oh, it does look like my brain. Oh, everything is connected. Oh, there's so much to play with. And then from then, now that I kind of understood what the little pieces did, I was like, okay, now I can play. I can connect the dots. I can make dashboards for anything, anytime I have like a brain fart. it appears on my Notion. So yeah, I guess
And
that's how it was. It was like, it's so
that
flexible, it
must
can
be
do anything, to, oh, it's so flexible, it can do anything.
and how long ago was this, Mikli, if you could recall that fateful weekend?
Um, Not so long ago, just this year, like July, maybe March, no, something like that.
Wow,
I don't know, but just this year. Yeah.
that is very recent. That's very recent. But yeah, I think the learning curve, right? It does take it does reward you for spending some time to get through it, right? And I guess when you kind of went beyond the first iteration of that, how you wanted to use Notion, how did that, how eventually guide you to thinking about using it for all your pre-launch planning of your new course, right? What was when do you feel confident enough to like, okay, I'm going to use it for something serious now?
When I started creating that like workspace, that hub, I realized, wow, I like it sticking. Because every time like I want to see a different way of looking at things and all of that's like, oh, I can find a way to do it in Notion. So it wasn't so much that I decided to use it for my pre-launch. It's just that I was using it for everything already, because so it just felt kind of natural to have the pre-launch in there. I could see everything in one place or in 50 different places if I wanted to, you know. Um, and it just became a way to take what was in here and like put it there, and I'll be like, okay, that's how it looks like. If that makes sense, right? It's just like it became a way to organize my brain, and Notion was the only app that I knew of, at least, that could make those connections that I was making in my own head. So it seemed natural for me to just to use it for the pre-launch also.
Nice, nice. So I think on my end, it seems that my internet is a bit unstable, but just let me know if you can't hear me at any time. Yeah, so I guess for when you actually kind of then were doing everything, right? So maybe on the other flip side of
Mm-mm.
other than doing it from a Notion perspective, when you talk about your online course, this is something that you wanted to do and you had like an end in mind. So how did you kind of then string together all these different pieces and then to figure out like, okay, what pages am I going to create? And how am I going to put this all together? What was your process like thinking about this launch, and then how did you weave Notion into it? Yeah.
Can I share? Can I share my templates? And I
Yes,
guess
yes, go ahead. Yeah.
okay, that's kind of like sharing my thought process also. So okay, so this first template, I wasn't thinking of a course yet. So this is my customer research hub. This began because I was on Instagram and I put up a couple polls. Oh, there, June, and I was just saying like, how's your tech situation? Is it, And then I just had them push a button. It's a hot mess. Do you set up your own stuff? Describe it in emojis, and I realized, you know what? I need a place where I can see all of this information, so I can see the patterns and see what's going on. What is it? What are the pain points? What do people need? So I put all the interviews in here because I wanted to see what was going on. So these are people. I just hid their names, and then from there, I also saw that I was like, I'm getting so much insight from the people that I interviewed, because I also like talked to them one on one when they responded to my polls. And then I went all around the internet, like going in Facebook groups, looking for people complaining about tech, looking for, someone to help them set it up. And I copied, what do you call it? Like, I just put all that copy in here. Every time somebody's complaining, I want to see the pain points. Every time somebody has a wish, I wish something happened. I wish, I'm happy to pay someone. It's like, ah. And then what I did with all of these then is like, I realized that having all the information here was great, but almost like useless. Not useless, but it was hard for me to make use of it because it was just a dump. So I created this situation where I could pull keywords from the interviews and keywords from the stuff that I saw online. Then I could see the patterns. Like I was tagging those keywords so I can see, these are kind of like their pain points. It's driving me crazy. These are the emotions attached to it and all of that. So it's like, ooh, All right. All right.
Oh, this is really
I'm seeing
interesting.
I'm seeing things, and I've always wanted to kind of make a course. I was so itchy, but this helped me really solidify what I was gonna do. But I'm not like, I didn't start out as a teacher. Like I feel like I know what I mean, I hope so, but I feel like I know what I'm doing with tech. But teaching is a whole different skill set. And I didn't
Yeah.
want to be a course creator that was just like, I'm gonna outline my ideas and now it's a course. Like, no, I really want to teach. So the next template I have here is my brainstorming board. This, it's messy. There's just notes everywhere. Does it look like this? But this is where I was kind of, how do I structure a course? What's the concept? It's really
Mhm.
bad. Um, I'd watch videos and learn how to teach, was reading books, and everything is just kind of coming in here. So before I could organize it, I really wanted to just like put it there, make a mess, and then maybe the organization will come.
And I think that the
So it's like,
toggle really helps you to
oh
fold it
yeah,
in.
without
Right? So you're not
without the
overwhelmed. Like
toggles, these
it's
would
so
be
to me.
so bad. This yeah, and I really like now that you can write inside. This was the day that they announced that you can put blocks inside of call outs. This was when it was a new video. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna use call outs for everything. Everything is a call out. So they're my post-its. So here it's just like I was talking with people. It's like, okay, what's on your wish list? If somebody magic wand, somebody knew how to do tech, like, or you were working with someone, what would you want them to be able to do or no? So like, so there, right? All of this is here, messy, messy, messy things that I wanted them to learn. And then um, now that I had the mess and I kind of had the notes, okay, I kind of have an idea of how I want to teach it. That's when I made this one. So this is my curriculum and drafts um, template, not template, dashboard thing.
Mhm.
So I have a lessons. I have a
Very good
lessons
use of a call out, by the
database.
way.
Oh my, it's just everything. Everything is a call out. It's so neat. And I am a messy person, so this makes me a neat person. Lessons database. Oh, it's here. Modules, lessons, and woo. Okay, I mean, okay, I'm not that neat. It's still messy. It's just modules, lessons, and resources. And what I like about the way that I set this up for myself is I wanted to see the course from like two vantage points. I wanted to see the big picture. What principles am I teaching? What techniques am I teaching per module? And then how does that break down into lessons? And then each
Right.
lesson, what's my learning outcome? So that's like the big picture. And then I
Yeah.
could zoom in and draft the lesson in here without losing
No.
my place in the flow. Like I know where I am, then I can just go back out and see like, here I am.
Yeah. I
Uh,
guess did you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
map out the principles and techniques separately? Because are you using a simple table for the principle and technique for each step here? Is this
Here, no,
this is the base?
this is just columns.
Oh
Where
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
where like you create a page and then you put the two columns in the
Hmm.
page, then you turn the page into text.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Tables
yeah.
didn't
That's
exist yet.
oh yeah, that's quite cool. Because I was just wondering whether you even have you even have a database of all the different principles and techniques, right? But it just right for now it's just maybe just a very high level that that
Yeah.
what you want to do, which is great, right? Yeah.
It's in the modules database. I just didn't write it down. But it's
Ah,
in theory, it's up here. Then I realized I couldn't get it to display the way that I wanted. So that was more of an aesthetic choice. So
mm,
I did it like this. Yeah. So here is where I now live because I pre-sold it. So I'm in the middle of like module 4 now.
mhm.
So module 1, 2, 3. Okay, three had iterations. Okay. Three. And then now I'm in 4. Um so this is where I am. now. So that's kind of how I used it to like plan and brainstorm. And then I can't let go because like Notion is my baby. And in the course, so I do have the course curriculum, but I offer them a library as well. So this is something that my students have access to. So this is everything but everything else. Like you have the curriculum, then you have everything else. Quick links to our chat group if they want to submit a hot seat question. All the automation and Notion templates are in here. And because it's Notion, I can break it down into, by module. I can break it down by tag. So it's easy for them to find however they want to find it. I have student bonuses. This is also where it lives. So yeah, Notion templates, workshops, perks. If we have like videos and workshops, because I don't have like a super live element. I don't do weekly calls because I am a tired person. So I just have something if they have a question. That's kind of it's ad hoc. So if something comes up, this is where it's gonna go. Yeah. And the other thing that I also use that I use this for myself, and when I build with my clients, and then I gave this template to my students, is this tech book template. Oh, it's already here. So in the course, we're building, like, for example, an onboarding flow. I would show you how that works. So this template is my visual way of seeing. On the left, I'm going to write down what happens. Okay, when somebody buys, they land on the thank you page, and then they get an email asking them to sign a contract. Like, that's on the left, like in normal people words.
Mhm.
And then on the right are the automations that connect those dots. And so for the students, when I'm building an automation, at least they have like this basis, this textbook. So like they know all the settings and everything, and they're following me as I click along. And at the end, they have a reference because the human hard drive, my hard drive at least, likes to get corrupted. It's like, what? How did I build that again? How does this work again? So
Been
this
there
is
many.
so this is the this is that. So that's what helps me that. So that's kind of like, this is how I use Notion from like at the very, very beginning when there was no course yet. And then
Right.
until now, like it's in the course. Like these are the stuff in the course. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's so cool that you kind of like have all these different pages that you're using, and then you've kind of string them all up, right? So now perhaps you're at the stage where you can look back and see, oh, okay, this is how I've kind of make sense of all this. I'm just curious, like, let's see if you were to walk somebody through how they would use Notion to create an online course like you would, what advice would you give them using the pages that you've just shown us, right? You're like, if you're going to tell them like, oh, here's how I would step through that whole process, creating it in Notion, based on the pages, will you change the order in which you would, go about this whole creation piece?
I think that if I were to tell anyone anything, the two pieces that might be more concurrent than anything are the customer research dashboard and the sort of brainstorming corkboard. I wish I had the corkboard earlier. So I started it later after the what do you call it? Like after I was doing my research. Like my corkboard before was that I was texting myself on Telegram, like, oh, I want to remember that. So
If you could show us that page again, and we can just see what you're referring to.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah. Let me do that. So this one, this corkboard situation, like it would have been nice to have, because like I was having like all these insights in real time and I wasn't able to take note of them. So I would maybe create this as I do my interviews. And then this one for me is super useful. Like this was at the beginning, yeah, research, but it was also like toward the promo and sales page writing. I use this a lot because I'm not like a copywriter by trade or anything. I'm not very good at just coming up with stuff. So I use their own words. This is my copywriting cheat sheet. So this happens at the beginning, but it also happens in the middle. Yeah, in the promo. Yeah, so this brainstorm, maybe I can show you a cleaner version because mine is really a mess. But
Yeah, I think on that customer research, I think I saw in the chat that I think Christopher was
Oh,
saying that he would learn something new, like you could hide the page title, right? For that one, which is quite cool.
what
Yeah,
do you
but
mean? Sorry, I didn't
I
hiding the page title.
think like for the way that you showed
This
the
one?
customer research on further down when you were doing the tagging,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like what we are seeing is that the content of the page.
Okay. So each of these things, like the interviews and
Mm.
these, they all have a relation to a keywords database. So
Oh,
anytime that I like something from here, so I kind of learned this from Marie. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Marie of Notion Mastery. Um,
Poulain?
so she,
I don't know how French maybe should make it sound. Oh.
so I would copy paste something that I like, and then I would put it up in here in the keywords database. And then if you look at this database here, it's in board form at the moment, but you can
Yeah.
see it as a table. And then like, oh, see, I haven't tagged everything. So that's not even all the stuff. I can go ahead and tag this as like, what's this? Oh, I'm gonna mess things up even more. So let's say that's a pain point. And then it's gonna appear in the board as a pain point. So that's how it's set up. So these are all those keywords that I extracted from the Facebook posts and the interviews, and then I go in here to tag them. Oopsie names. I go in here to tag them, and that's how I get to see it. And then I change it into a board for if I need to reference it.
That makes sense to
Does
me
that
now.
make sense?
All right.
Yeah.
That's why
Okay.
that's why there is a counter. I mean, there is all right, and then after that you can see the numbers.
Oh yeah. These
Yeah.
just I guess that's like a Notion thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's very cool. Right. So you have
Yeah.
the customer research, and then you have that brainstorming page there where you kind of message yourself on Telegram, and then you kind of moved it into this brainstorming page.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's actually from there, when as you were kind of pre-selling your course, like, you know, how
Mm-hmm.
did you then you know, I don't know, like what was your process? Do you take some feedback in that, you know, pre-sales process and you know, kind of refine your curriculum, or how did that work for you? Or whether, like, I guess, you know, what was your objective, right, as you were kind of doing that pre-selling, and how did, you know, you manage that in Notion, if you made any further enhancements?
Well, I haven't been managing that in Notion. Okay, pre-selling was like chaotic. This is my first launch. Everything was happening my initial goal was to do like I was just gonna do a quiet pre-sell thing. This is just low key. My real launch is gonna be in a month or whatever. And then it turned into like this huge thing. I don't know. I let it become a monster, and I was so tired, and I was on every day for like almost a month because I was like, maybe I should extend it so I can have some downtime. I was like, oh my God, no, I'm not gonna extend it to 3-4 weeks anymore. Anyway, sidetracked. But yeah, no. So the stuff that my students and I are talking about, I haven't yet found a way to like, or I haven't gotten to being neat enough to put it in Notion. So the students and I have a group chat on Telegram, and that's been super useful for me because they're giving me feedback. I was like, oh, okay, now I understand. Like they'll ask me a question and then I'll answer. I was like, oh, okay, now I understand this part because when I was reading it, it was unclear. So I was just like, okay, note. You know what? I should make a new brainstorming board for like all of that. But like yeah, okay. Oh my God, I'm just babbling. But okay, to answer your question, no, I don't have
Yeah.
anything.
No,
I don't have
you
anything
say,
in
I
Notion yet for
feel,
that, but I should.
actually, I feel like at least for me, when I'm hearing you share your story, it's very relatable. Hi, Riti. It's very relatable for me because I'm a messy person by nature, and I think most of us are, right. We're not the kind of person who like, let me think in structured blocks and columns and
Mm-mm.
tags and everything. So like, I think that's the beauty of Notion, and even the whole idea, like what I'm hearing from you is you're embracing the mess each day. as opposed to like trying to be like too overwhelmed by it. And in terms of what you've done with like Notion to really make it valuable so that your copy speaks to your students, and for yourself, you're so intentional about making sure that every module, the principle, it's supported by a very specific technique, and then the lessons flow from there. It's suddenly seems like, wow, it's just super organized, right? And I'm like, okay, that's like the magic of Notion. I don't know whether you feel it, but when I saw you walk through it, I was like, okay, that's the magic of Notion. And of course, like having the library piece is something that, okay, that's great, right? Everybody can use it. But I guess from that part, I'm just curious, when you targeted your students for the launch, how did you estimate their comfort level with Notion, or how much does Notion feature as as a key part of this whole kind of automation process, right? Because is it centered around Notion, or actually it's for them to learn how to automate anything that they want to do for their own tech stack?
Okay, so for my students, the objective was more they learned four main projects, mini offers. So that's like how to set up your tech and automations for a workshop or something like that. The second one is an onboarding process for students or clients. The third is, okay, that was my free module, so I had to like stick it in there somehow. Looping call reminders. So if you have like group coaching calls every week, how do you just make that a loop so you're not scheduling it every week? And then the last one is on webinars. Setting up from the registration up to the webinar is part one, and from the webinar to the sale is part two. So that's the focus. But my idea was those are the projects that they're working on, but I hope to teach like tech principles in general. So Notion isn't a feature in the stuff that I'm teaching, but I hope that I'm able to teach like the thought process and the thinking that they can apply to any tech. Because like tech is like, for me, it's like, it has a language. And then once you can like speak its language, you can really just like talk to anything. Like the same way that in the beginning, I was like, you know what, I just don't know how to speak Notion's language, but if I sit down for a weekend, I'm going to understand it. So right now with my students, in terms of their comfort level with Notion, I didn't really like the library I designed for them, like super simple, like just one. It's a page that they can access. It's a one level database. Like they click it and then the thing is there. So there's nothing so much for them that they have to play around with. But what I was really like I like that because some of the students are like, hey, this is so cool. How did you do this? I was like, of course, here's the template. Go download it. Oh my God, go duplicate it, make your own. And I'm just like, how did you make this box? Oh, that's a call out. It's great. Like, so they're learning
Maybe a mini Notion course
along.
there within your course.
So it's more of that. Like it wasn't it wasn't planned or intentional, but we end up like playing with Notion also just because it's there, it's hanging out, it's in the background, it's saying hello. But it's I'm like taking 50 years to answer a question, but here we are.
Good. I appreciate the detail. So I think Waiting called that there was a question from Margaret, and it was in the chat. It was where she noticed that there are multiple columns used in some of the call-out blocks. So the question is, did you create them on the spot when you needed to use them, or did you use a template button?
Okay. I will share my screen again. So is this, sorry, which was it this? Inside the call out blocks, right? I'll have multiple columns. So I at first was, I think, wait, I'm just gonna scroll. I believe there is a template block, but I'm not 100%. Yes, I made one.
Oh, nice.
At first, I was doing it like the old school way. Like I'd make a page, and then inside the page, I'd make two columns. Right. So this is just kind of, so there's two columns now. Then I go back, and then for every column I was doing this, and then I would turn it into like heading one or whatever, and then delete heading one, and then now I have two columns, like there. And that's what I was doing for inside call outs. And then I decided like, oh, I forgot Notion can make my life easier. So I made these things. In the template, okay, there's a clean version of this template that you guys can get. Maybe I can show.
Oh,
So
yes,
I did that. I did that for you. So this corkboard is black, but here you have a library there. I made you columns now, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I taught you how to make 6 or more if you want to. So you just drag it wherever, and then you can just add a column.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Because
you.
I
Yes.
realized.
Yeah, so I think that's something, I just want to say thank you. I was asking before the call, I was asking Mikli, like, how long did you take to put this together? Because I think that was a lot of effort in terms of the whole page of like Notion course templates that you've shared. And let me just see whether I can put that. I think if I put it in the chat, it will come up, and just test it. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it comes up. If not, I think we will get that into the chat so that you can have a look at it. But yeah, thank you for kind of sharing that template. So I think of all the pages that you've shared with us, the customer research, the brainstorming, the curriculum, the library, and the tech book, I think. Yeah. I guess, in terms of like when you are kind of looking at, for yourself now that, you are a bona fide, course creator using Notion, what is maybe is there like already in like version 2.0 that you're thinking of, like what you want to do next, or, how you might want to use it differently from your experience so far?
Notion, you mean? I mean, I feel like the way that I use Notion is not so much I'm using it one way, then I'm gonna change. It's just like it's always changing every time. Like I think of something, there's gonna be a new page. It always learns from the last. That tech book is like version 6. I don't know. Every time I get a new client, it's like, oh, I could have done this. Oh, I could have tweaked. So it's always just constantly, tweaking and evolving, and maybe Ray and I will chat about how to make a workspace that works for me. I don't know, because this is because this is like
I'm
based
sure
off
she can
old
help with
stuff.
that.
But what was I saying? Yeah, so I guess it's more of it's constantly evolving and constantly I'm just always learning as the new features come, as new needs come up. It's more like that. Like Notion and I are buds. It's not like I use it then I leave. It's like I live inside. I never close it. It's always open on my computer.
Yeah, I know. I think that's something that I feel it's just been a year for me almost, right? But like my phone has so many Notion widgets that I'm opening up different pages for different things, for journaling and scheduling and everything else, and it's just so crazy, right? Like how embedded it is. Oh, waiting is a question. Go ahead.
No. Mm-mm. Right. Oh no, that's super smart. I didn't even think of that. I have Loom videos for everything in the course except Notion. So I should. Thank you. I'll make one after this. It's like, here's how to
Oh,
use it.
I think Mikli and Rating, Marco just shared that actually we couldn't hear Rating's question. So I'm just
Mm,
going to repeat it briefly. And, to summarize, I think Rating was saying that if they get the situation where people in the course are not that familiar with Notion and, ask questions about it, which is like similar to her experience on another course, does Mikli have plans to record like a Loom video to do an introduction to Notion? So I think that was like, the question, and then, you heard the answer. So Yeah.
Should is the answer. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Cool. Oh, all right. So I think in we are like now at the time where we could take any more further questions. If anyone has something specific that you would want to ask, and I don't know whether kind of Mikli, if while we're waiting for questions to come in, is there any kind of like cool features or cool hacks in any of the pages that you just want to highlight to us that you found quite useful for yourself? And I guess while we are waiting for those questions, we can just go through a couple of those.
Wow. Oh, I have to think. I think that the coolest, I think for me was this one, like the discovery of I could. You mentioned earlier about embracing the mess. I think this is I think
Yeah.
that's the most, because my thing here is I just really dump things inside and let the Notion features make it neat for me. So I like that. From the mess, just kind of taking the keywords that I like. So that's the feature that really was the most useful for me. And then it's like all I have to do is tag them. I don't
Yeah.
have to think of categories. If I see something and it's a new category, I make a new tag. Like that's the one. Let's see if there's anything cool. I think the thing also with my with my templates is they're not so. I mean, I've seen these super integrated, super relationed dashboards. So I don't know that I'm there yet. I was like sometimes, but sometimes not. So hmm.
Oh,
This call outception is something that I super loved because it's just so
Mm,
neat again.
yeah.
Not
It's really
not like
it looks so easy to it looks so
I
easy
have a
on the eye, right?
question.
And yeah.
So, did you consider other? There's 10,001 course platforms. Like, why do you pick Notion?
oh the course isn't on. It's not delivered through Notion. So all that is delivered through Notion is the library. So the course
Ah, okay, okay.
platform lives somewhere else. It's on Teachery, which I have because I have like a lifetime what do you call it? Teachery situation. So that's what I used. So the only thing on Notion for the course is the library, but the curriculum doesn't live here. This one is just for me. This is just for me, all the messy stuff, and then I copy paste it
Mm,
somewhere else. Yeah. So they're not interacting with Notion so much in terms of like as they go through the material. It's just for the supplementary stuff here. Yeah.
Mm,
got it.
yeah. I guess one thing that is interesting is when I saw you kind of look at your brainstorm corkboard, right, and you kind of like put out all the different modules. I just thought that it was so well thought through, right? So were you like looking at different methodologies, in terms of how you want to categorize what like for example, like the core principles, what kind of projects
Mm,
and all these learning
yeah.
outcomes. Are these are all the things that basically, from all the different sources that you've gathered, you've kind of thought to yourself, okay, I'm going to have these components in every topic that I'm covering. And is that how did you get to that, right? It's like multiple iterations, or you kind of just adjusted as you went along.
Oh gosh, that was, well, I guess that's the theme of today. It was messy because I really wanted my I don't know what the English word for it is. My gigil. Okay, if anybody here is from the Philippines, my gigil is that if I go online, majority of the resources on creating an online course are about how to market it and launch it and sell it. I was like, okay, but how about the teaching? And I couldn't
Mhm.
find um I couldn't find something that was just like I wish I could follow, or I mean, I couldn't find something I could afford that was just like, just follow these. So I read books, I watched YouTube materials, I read articles. So all of those notes on teaching, I took it here. Yeah, all of these sources. So that's those toggles are hiding a lot. And then from there, I decided maybe I should stop reading so much and make the darn thing. So at a certain point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna decide. Who's it? my commander's intent. At the end, I really wanted the original name for the course was Build Anything, because I really wanted the students. I know, ambitious, but at the end, I wanted the students to have like, they could connect the dots and these learn these principles, so that if they had an idea for an automation that they wanted to make on their own in the future, they'd have the tools to do it.
Mhm.
But then I was like, how do I teach that? And then somebody gave me the idea, why don't you just teach them how to make an onboarding flow or how to make a something? I was like, wait a minute, I can teach them how to make these flows, but kind of like secretly teach them like, oh, this is, the technique of using conditions and goals so that people can jump around, so that the next time you want someone to jump around your automations, you know what to use. So it was a process. It wasn't very quick, but it
Yeah.
also started with like learning outcomes. Like at the end, what do I want them to be able to do? And then these things that I bolded, you can see here, like I it's like, oh, maybe it's this. I mapped it here. It's not even like a database, messy. Oh, they should understand like what one Lego brick is doing. Then you can put Lego bricks together. Where can I do that? Okay, maybe I'll talk about the anatomy of an automation. There, so it's here. So it was really, it was a lot of that. So I really appreciate this board. I lived here for a while, just allowing me
So
to go
nice.
through that process of.
Yeah, you're teaching about Lego bricks using Lego bricks, like you're thinking about how to teach people how to use Lego bricks using the actual bricks for yourself.
Yeah,
That's very nice.
but
Yeah,
but
it's, yeah.
but yeah. So it wasn't. I don't start neat. I really don't. I start with the chaos, and then I hope it all congeals into something that makes sense. Is sort of
Yeah.
is sort of the process. But yeah, I really did want to be intentional about teaching. It's something I'm still learning. And my students have tremendous patience for me when I don't explain things well, and I am so happy that they ask. um but yeah, I didn't want to make a course that just was just like, I'm gonna outline things, the end, so yeah, the Notion
Yeah.
really helped there. Just yeah.
I guess, Mikli, just curious right now that you've really kind of done the first round, I've heard the impression I'm getting is you're doing it, by yourself, right? But why I'm asking this question is because I feel it, right? Like we want to do so many things, but it's only 24 hours. And you're not just doing this, right? You also have clients that you're managing and things like that. So are you, like, number one, like how do you manage your time to like build this? And then number two, do you plan to like bring other people on board and kind of like work together with you, or in like how do you think through that, right? Like are you going to use Notion to help you to augment your abilities by bringing somebody on to help, or is you find that because you're using Notion, everything's actually quite well sorted right now?
No. Oh no, okay. So with client projects, I do have help. So some of these projects I really can't do alone. So that's been helpful in allowing me to kind of do the course. But as I'm okay, if your question is time management, like that's not me. I don't know how to do that. But no, I really do have help more on the client side, and then because I do like taking projects and all of that. So at least there with the client, I can kind of be high level and oversee what's happening, to solve the puzzle of how to automate their thing. And then I have, depending on the project, and then I have people who can help. This one is the BGB, like Baby Got Backend, is more of, okay, this is my child and I have been in labor for months now. It's coming along. I'll
my
tell
God.
you by the time when I finish the course material, I will tell you how I managed my time. But right now the answer is What's that?
That's really,
That's like
I
not very positive.
Raw, yeah. Maybe we talked that. And I do automations, not productivity. That's different.
that is a very good distinction, right? Different topics.
Different topic, different person. It's like some people are like,
Oh
oh,
my
you're so
God.
organized, and can you do ops? And it's like, it's more of like it's different. So mine's just like, do you want to automate a hello to your students? Because I can do that. And it's like, you want to submit a project by pressing one button instead of copy pasting files and folders and sending emails. I can do that. So it's
Mm.
productivity in that way, but time management. mm-mm. I don't know how to answer your time
Different
management.
specialty under the broader header of productivity.
Yeah.
So Molly had a
Um.
question.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So how often do you evolve your workspace, which is the main one, the hub? Like how often do you make changes to it? Maybe every few weeks?
Um. I guess as soon as I need something that doesn't exist, you know what I mean? As soon as I hit the limitation, I was like, I want to be able to see what I have coming up for the week. So I have a hub for myself. It's like if that doesn't exist yet, the nice thing about Notion, I guess, is just I can just make it exist. It's like, okay, now I have a new view. Now I have a new filter. It's like I want to be able to create you know, I want to be able to, like, we're in the middle of that last April, like we were in the middle of an event, a virtual event, and
Oh, that one. Yeah, I saw it.
yeah, and then they were sending emails to speakers like every 5 minutes, like, oh, by the way, here's your link. Oh, by the way, here's your like that. Oh, by the way, please come 30. It was like, oh my God, you're bombarding the speakers. They're not gonna find any information. They have 50 emails to sort. Just let me just I'm just gonna make you a hub. I'm just gonna make you something and then just link the speakers to this hub. So as the need arises, that's kind of when I evolve it. So there's no, it's not like a set like every X amount of time. It's just like whenever I need to, then I just tweak it.
Very cool. Oh, actually, I just saw some people join us. Hi, Alejandra. And
Hello. Oh my
I
gosh, is
did
that
see that.
Alejandro Jade? No, or a different
Uh,
Alejandro.
I think a different Alejandra.
Oh, sorry. Hello, anyway. Hello, Alejandro.
So I don't see any further questions. So
Mm-mm.
that's probably we can just do a wrap and just see if there's anything else that you would want to share with us in terms of maybe your reflections or after you've, I guess, do you consider yourself to have like fully delivered this baby yet, or do you feel like there's like a bit more to go?
Oh. No. So the course is in progress. So that's why it was a pre-sale. So not all the content is out. They got a discount for buying it while it wasn't born yet. So I'm so excited to deliver this baby. Maybe over the break, I'll have some sort of like breakthrough and get all the content out. But until then, Notion and I are gonna be buds. It's gonna help me make sure, I everything that I'm writing is there. All the stuff that I need is there. Um, I guess the insight for me is I'm just embracing who I am. Like Notion. Oh wait. Notion allows me to like embrace who I am as we have been chatting. I think it has come to the forefront that I am not organized and not neat. But no one has to know except for the people watching this video. Because when they see my Notion, they're like, "Wow, how'd you do that? It's so well organized and neat." And I was like, "Haha, the secret is the neatness didn't come from me. I I was able to lean in to, like, I could allow myself my own process, and I could allow myself that messiness that I need to be able to come up with something. And like
Yeah.
it's messy when I create, but if I just left it there, I wouldn't be able to read anything back. So Notion is what's able to turn that mess into something that then I can use back, or something that's super, useful. And I'm so happy because, God sent. I don't know how I would function otherwise.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I think you never mentioned that you use any templates to set up like your workspace, and instead you
Oh,
are creating templates for other people. So how did you, if you're disorganized, how do you become organized in Notion without using something?
What do you mean? What do you mean again, again, again?
So okay, so when people learn how to use Notion and they say that they are
Mm-mm.
disorganized, they would buy a
Mm-mm.
template to become
Mm-hmm.
organized. But I don't see you mentioning that you bought a template to become organized, but
Well,
instead
I
you're
was in
actually
Notion
creating
Mastery.
templates.
Well, what I enjoy, I guess it's kind of how I would like my students of Baby Got Backend, I guess, or that was also part of the inspiration. So I'm in Notion Mastery with like Marie, but I haven't used necessarily her templates as is, because when I go into the templates, I go into it for inspiration. And then I was like, so that's how you can use a database. Oh, so this is how she linked it. Oh, so this is how. And then I kind of take that, and then my brain is able to use that. It's like, okay, this is how I can make this make sense for what I'm thinking. And then I create a template. So everything that I'm selling is what I'm using. It's just more of like people are asking for it. So I make a template for me and how it works for myself using those principles that I've learned from, templates that I might see online. I do buy, but have I just don't use them as is. It's like, so this is how it's organized. Like I use it as that, as a library. So this is how, yeah. And then I make a template for myself and people are like, hey, that's really cool. It's like, okay, cool. It's on Gumroad. Um, that's kind of like the process. So I don't even see myself as necessarily like a Notion, like I know the Notion things. It's just like, this was what was useful for me. If it is useful for you, that's, here you go.
I think that's such a good point, right? It's like you're taking the it's really going back to your course, right? You're always going back to the first principles of like, okay, what am I trying to do here? And then, what is the functionality that I can apply for my own
Mhm.
needs? And
Yeah.
yeah, instead of just uh, hmm, blindly slash lazily, like you're just getting something that might not actually be super useful for you, but just actually using something that it's exactly what you need, but because you kind of like identified the principle that works for that, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you did say something because it's how their brains work. So it's like it's almost, but not quite how mine works. But so yeah, exactly that. I'll just take what I need. I'll just take what's useful and make
Yeah.
it mine. Yeah.
But I don't know, I think that's great. And for me, that those are like my two takeaways as well. It's like, wow, you've kind of demonstrated like how Notion is so highly customizable for reflecting exactly how your brain thinks, right? And then you kind of like also, like, at least for me, just kind of show us like, okay, when you can use Notion to visualize things, or create those relations and visualize it in a way that actually helps you in your process. It's something that no other tool can do before, and it's just something that they have
Mm.
nicely enabled you to do this with a simple click. All right, it's like super powerful, right? If you know what you're trying to like do, and which is
Yeah.
something I thought, like, it's simple, but I don't think that easy to do.
But I'm happy that it can, if you're a beginner and you don't want to use databases, it's fine. You want to use databases, okay. You want to use 50 databases, it's fine. I think like I'm so happy that Notion is so kind to me in that way. It's like, it's allowing me. It's like, it's
Pass the
allowing
message
me
on.
to Notion.
Like, I don't know, like, somebody, I mean, waiting, maybe you know this, like, is there like a limit to number of relations in a page? Is it like 30 plus? Like, how many
Oh
relational
gosh.
database can you go up to before you like max out? I thought I saw
You're the
somebody who was,
first person who has asked that question. Normally people ask
I
like
can't
how
be,
many
I saw
rows.
this. No, I saw this question somewhere. I don't know, is it like Notion Mastery Circle or something? Somebody was asking about how many relations until you max out, what's possible.
I
What,
think if like you maxed it out, like maybe you should go and relook at your relations and databases.
why do you need so many?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should. At least I can't really think of a use case for that right now, but we'll see. Okay, but Thank you so much for joining. I think, just looking through the comments and, see what people are saying. It sounds like, right. I think people are talking about their key takeaways. Thanks, Christopher.
Thank you.
Xterix, using sync blocks. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, right? Do you
Oh,
use any of the sync blocks yet for your your pre-course launch for any of the
yes, I did.
pages?
Let me. I forgot about that. Oh, let's see. Mikli. Um, so here I have. There you go. There's my sync block. Another thing that I like to get things from everywhere. So when I was doing my interviews, anytime I see a good interview question, I kind of put it in here. And then, so this sync block lives inside one of these. Let's see. So when I do an interview, I have the questions there with me. So I get I mean, okay, I feel like it's such a baby use, but it's so useful for me. So anytime that I have any interview questions, I can just add it in here. Sometimes when I'm talking to someone and they're like, you know what, you didn't ask me, this. I was like, oh, that is a good question. And I just kind of add it in here. And now it's everywhere. Every time I need to ask a question, then but yeah, so far this is the only use of sync blocks I have. But I do use it. And it's useful. Oh, wait, I did use it either. I also used it somewhere else. Hang on. Hang on. So here in the beep boop. I delete. Oh, here. No, I deleted it. No, is this a sync? There, it's a sync block. Okay. I was creating this is module 3 of the course. I'm writing it here. Every time I need a resource. So when I have resources, I link it to the students in the library. So the parent database or the main database is in here, and then it's synced here. So that every time I'm making a resource while I'm making the course in here, and I'll put it in here, then it'll apply there. Why did I sync it? I know I could have linked it, but there was a reason why I synced it. I can't remember, but I used it.
Okay,
Or did I say like, oh, if I want to fix this by fixing this, I think that's what I did, something like that.
Yeah,
No, I know. It lives inside. It lives inside here. It lives inside the draft. Ayun, there it is. So every time I'm drafting a when I'm drafting a lesson, I have this here, and then if I'm going out and I zoom out and I want to see what's inside the module, then I also see this. And
yeah, makes sense.
yeah, okay, there. That's
We do have
if I want to
one question.
rearrange it, I don't have to leave where I am to rearrange how it looks here. Yeah. Okay. There. That's how I use sync blocks.
Oh, there's one question from Christopher about the push the button database. Like, how was the column hidden?
Push the button database. Oh, this one. Okay. Oh, I just scrolled. Hang on, let me bring that up. Oop. Oh, there. I just scrolled to the side. Let me see how I can do it. There. It's just a big database, and I scrolled. So it wasn't nothing fancy, but I there. Just so that in theory I was hiding the names from the video, so it peeped a couple times. But yeah, because those are the names of the people I talked to on Instagram.
Also, you just
That's it.
scrolled it to whichever view that you wanted, and then you just left it there, and yeah, that works for you, right?
Is that I just
Cool.
made it super long so that I could scroll.
Smart. I think that's like this will be under the category of hacks. But thank you so much, Mikli. I know it's been fun, and just like
Thank you so
thank you for
much.
sharing how you kind of like put together that overall And I think it's really interesting to see when you have an idea in mind, but the execution of it and how it goes through so many different iterations and gets you and your students, the kind of outcome that you are hoping for. So congratulations on
Thank
pre-selling and like getting
you.
it tested. And, yeah, looking forward to. I really hope that everyone just checks out the templates that Mikli has so generously shared on the page that is in the channel link. And just if you want to reach out to her, you can see the links to reach out to her on Instagram, Twitter, or email. But thank you so much, Mikli. It was really fun, and this is
Thank
also
you
like
so
the
much.
year end. So have a great close to the year, everybody, and we will see you
Oh my
in the new
God.
year. Yes.
See you in
All right.
2022.
2022.
Bye.
Bye.